welcome to another Composure Active video. So today's video is going to guide you through a few exercises that should hopefully be really helpful on your road to recovery in your rotator cuff injury. So even if you're not experiencing a rotator cuff injury, if you're suffering from any shoulder issues at the moment, perhaps through injury or maybe just sleeping on the wrong side, this video could be really helpful for you. So please make sure that you've checked with your physio or perhaps a doctor that this video is safe for you to complete. So first of all, you just want to be looking at your range of motion, and that will be different for everyone. So a few simple things to do before you start with any of the harder exercises. Taking your arms out in front and maybe just to the height that feels comfortable for you. So this might be just down here, or it might be all the way up and over your head. So just being mindful of where you can move in a pain-free zone. And we'll just take 8 to 10 repetitions, lifting and lowering the arms. And you might find that each time you do this, you're able to come a little bit further or a little bit higher. And you can do this seated or standing, up to you. So 8 to 10 repetitions there, and just seeing where your comfortable zone is. Are you able to get right up over your head, or is it just a little movement today? And then taking your arms out wide. So as I said, you can do all these exercises either seated or standing up, whatever's comfortable for you. So this time, just seeing where feels comfortable. How high can you take your arms pain-free? Again, 8 to 10 repetitions. So as well as this being a good guidance tool, this can be a nice way to warm up the shoulders before maybe an upper body workout at the gym. So again, when you've done 8 to 10, moving on to the next exercise. So just imagine you are holding a tray out in front of you here, and sometimes it can be quite nice to stand against a wall and use the wall as a guidance. And from here, you take your arms out to the side and back to that starting position. And we're just seeing how far we can get the hands back behind. So it can be really useful to use the wall here, because then you can see the distance between your thumb and the wall behind you. Again, 8 to 10 repetitions. When you've done that, if it's comfortable for you to bring your elbows out to the side, again, it might be down here, it might be right up to shoulder height, but not too high, just to shoulder height. And then we're going to start to lift the hands. So just as with the other exercises, it might just be a small movement today, but if you can, bringing the palms up so we kind of cactus the hands out to the side. And again, 8 to 10 repetitions here, just looking at your range of motion, what feels comfortable for you, and how far you can move the shoulder joint today. Remember, we all feel different on different days. So yesterday you might have been able to come right up here, and today you might have found that it's really only here. That's fine. And once you've done 8 to 10 of those, we're going to start to add in a little bit of resistance now. So I have got one of these long resistance bands, and they can be really, really useful pre-workout as a little shoulder activation exercise, or if you are going through a rehab program, adding in the band to the previous exercises are a nice way to develop and bring a little strength into it. So the easiest way to do the first one is just to pop the band under your foot. Once you have a band under your foot, take the arms out in front, roll the shoulders back and down. Just be mindful here that when you're standing, you're not sticking your bum out. So try to find a neutral spine, somewhere in between the tuck and the arch of the pelvis. Arms out in front, and then lifting the arms just to where feels comfortable for you. Again, 8 to 10 repetitions, lifting the arms up in front and then dropping them back down by your side. Try to be slow and controlled as you do this movement. It can often help to use the breath to keep your pace, to keep your rhythm. Once you've done 10, little shake off, and then we'll just switch feet so that you're not standing all the time on the same foot. And then exactly the same, those lateral raises, lifting the arms out to the side to a pain-free range of motion. Raising and lowering the arms. 8 to 10 repetitions. You should start to feel a little bit of a burning sensation. That's just the muscles working here. If at all you feel pain, maybe just drop it back and you can do another 8 to 10 without the band. The band is optional. Only move on through the levels once you feel ready, once you feel strong enough. So just make sure your wrists are in neutral and not flexing them up or down. And then just imagine you're carrying a tray. The most important bit here is to pin your elbows into your side. And then we squeeze out, draw the shoulder blades back together, and then slowly, with control, bring the band back to center. So rather than just rushing through this one, really isolate the muscles you want to be using. Imagine somebody is behind you, just gliding those shoulder blades together and then back to center. So as if you're holding a tray, squeezing the arms out to the side and then coming back to that starting point nice and slow. And as with your other exercises, 8 to 10 reps here. So you've got a few options with all these exercises. If you're not really a massive fan of the band and you want to try something else, perhaps for the last few you can grab a lighter weight. So just thinking about moving the elbows up to about shoulder height and then bringing them back in. And maybe to start with, you just do one arm at a time so that you can really tune in and notice the difference between right and left sides. So if you need to pause the video at any point to finish your repetitions, then please do. So always about 8 to 10 on each side, and start super light with these weights. You don't want to be rushing into anything here. And then the next kind of movement that we were going for was that lifting and lowering those cactus arms. So once you add the weight, you might find that this feels quite different. So be patient with yourself here, just lifting the arms where it feels comfortable. And you might, again, just be able to lift a little way, that's fine. Progress with shoulder exercises can be a little slower than with other body parts. So just aim not to rush here. Tuning into the body, again, those 8 to 10 reps on one side and then the other side, so that you really notice what's going on in the body. And if you find that maybe one side feels a little weaker than the other side, then always just adding in a few extra reps. We're aiming to balance out the body here. Especially if your injury is on one side, or you know you're strong on the left side but you're weaker in the right, then perhaps you do your 10 on the weaker side and only about 5 or 6 on the stronger side, so that over time we become more balanced in our body. So as we know, stretching and strengthening is the best combination to overcome any injuries or soreness you may be experiencing in a muscle or a joint. So we're just going to move on to a few stretches now that should be really helpful for you. So our first stretch, take your left arm across your chest and then gently press the right hand in towards the shoulder, pulling the arm across the front of your body. you should feel a stretch across the back of the shoulder blade. You want to hold your stretch for about 15 seconds and then release, and then the other side. So 15 seconds is really our minimum hold for a stretch. That's only really going to keep your muscle flexibility at the same as it already is. If you've got time and you want to improve your flexibility, then you want to aim to hold your stretches for 25 seconds or more. Releasing there, maybe just give the shoulders a little roll. Clasp the fingers together, reach forwards, and if it's comfortable for the neck, just gently drop the chin to the chest. Release, clasp the hand behind your back, and then lift your chest up towards the ceiling without chucking your head back. So just lifting the chest, feeling that stretch across the front of the shoulders here. And then release. And it's nice to stretch the muscles that surround the shoulder as well. So maybe just taking the right hand behind your back and lifting the right elbow up towards the ceiling. Try not to crunch down through the body here. Sit nice and tall, and then with your left hand, gently place it on the elbow, stretching through the tricep and under in towards the armpits. So again, 15 to 25 seconds, whatever you're wanting to achieve here, and releasing, and then the other side. And release. Give the shoulders a little roll back and forth. So that completes our video series for shoulder or rotator cuff injuries. And you might have found that, doing the whole thing in one go is a little bit much for you, and that's fine. Perhaps just choosing one segment of the strengthening and the stretching to start off with, and then as you become stronger, working towards doing the whole video. Now, if you're using this for kind of a pre-workout and you're more towards the end of your rehabilitation, you could maybe miss out the range of motion exercises each time you go to the gym and just pop them in maybe once a month to track your progress. Really, the ones you want to be aiming for are the ones with the bands, that's strengthening through the shoulder and around the shoulder. So I hope you found today's video useful. Please do get in touch if you've got any questions. And remember, visit your physio or your doctor if you are still experiencing pain.